Hello and welcome to the Mindset and Mindfulness Podcast with me, your host, Sandy Powell.
Hello and welcome to today's episode. Our guest today is Vân An. She's a former social worker turned life coach and mental health and well-being advocate. She has inspired and coached people from over 15 countries, and she's been featured on multiple local and international newspapers, radio, and podcasts for her contributions to mental health and well-being advocacy. She's passionate about helping ambitious individuals transform stress, anxiety, and fear into peace, happiness, and confidence. Welcome, Anne.
Hello, Sandy. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us for this podcast.
It's my pleasure, and I'm so excited to have a meaningful conversation with you on the Mindset and Mindfulness podcast.
Awesome. Well, then let's jump right in. Could you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Yes, so I am a life coach, and in the past, I worked as a qualified social worker. And currently, I coach people who are ambitious and high achieving to transform from stress, anxiety into inner peace and calm. And I am very passionate about my job because I used to be someone who struggled a lot with stress, high functioning anxiety, and burnt out. And I had to go through a transformative journey. And now I feel so much better. I'm so much calmer and more confident about myself. So that's why I love to share my story and my experience to help others to feel better and have better quality of life and just have better mental health and well-being while growing their career. Yeah.
Yes. I think it's such an important topic these days too, right? There's so many people out there, right? that are stressed out and in burnout mode and things like that. And they are looking for exactly that, right? Someone to help them find a way out of that situation. And yes, a bit more peace and calm, I think, is a good thing in almost everybody's life.
Yeah. There are so many people who are struggling with mental health and well-being, but they just feel too embarrassed to ask for help. So many high achievers suffer in silence. So I think it is very important for us to share our story so that others know that they are not alone and there's a way to help them improve their mental health, to help them overcome their challenges and have better quality of life. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the goal of this podcast, to share that. Yes, to share those stories and help others see that there's, yes, even though there's many challenges, but there's also so many ways to overcome those challenges, turn that into stepping stones that, for you to create your life, the life that you were meant to live, a life in more peace and calm and just more happiness. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I feel like so many people put their health last too, right? Is that something you come across a lot?
Oh, yes, definitely. So in the past, I had a pretty successful career. Growing up in a poor family in Vietnam, I learned early on that the only path to success was to work hard. So after years of dedication, I became one of the youngest recipients of a fully funded scholarship, an Australia Awards scholarship, to do my master's degree in social work. I was so happy about the next chapter of my life to move from Vietnam to Australia to do my master's degree. And I worked really hard. I studied very hard. And after graduation, I was offered not just one, but four job opportunities And I decided to take on a prestigious and well-paid role as a coordinator for a national social work research, a position that many would have considered a dream job. From the outside, I seemed driven and accomplished, but inside, I was struggling. I was always the last person who left the office and bringing work home, skipping family dinner, and sacrificing self-care for work. And the fear of not being good enough kept me in a constant state of anxiety. And I remember vividly one day while preparing dinner, I was holding a plate of food and it suddenly slipped out of my hand and shattered on the floor into thousands of pieces. My hand was constantly shaking due to an overstressed nervous system.
Wow.
Despite the clear signs that I needed to change, just like so many people, the next day I kept pushing through because I thought I'm a strong and resilient woman. I can do this. I've got this. So I kept pushing through. And I started having frequent chest pain, stomach pain, and headaches. And I realized that I couldn't continue this way. I have to change. And one day I decided to start my self-discovery journey. And I learned about neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, for the first time. And it was like stepping into a completely different world. And I learned so much from so many different coaches and mentors and trainers. I learned about mindfulness, just like Sandy. And I learned about, all things about personal development, just how to understand myself better, to identify the root causes of my stress and anxiety. And with the help of my coaches and mentors, I finally transformed physically, mentally, and emotionally. My health improved significantly, and no more hand shaking, no more frequent chest pain or stomach pain or headaches due to constant stress and anxiety. I improved my health a lot, and I felt a profound sense of peace and happiness that I hadn't felt in years. And most importantly, I reconnected with my sense of self-worth. I realized that I am worthy, not because of how much I achieve, simply because of who I am. And I saw so many people around me have the same problems. So I felt compelled to share my story to help others find peace and calm amidst the chaos of achievement.
Wow. That's so powerful. Wow. I don't even know where to start. But yes, I really connect with what you're saying there, because I've been there. To make it short. Yes, I also grew up, believing, the only way to success, you need to grind, you need to work hard, you need to, be a self-made somebody. So I worked on that very early on. I'm the oldest of like 3 siblings, and I'm always been the achiever, and going far and wide to do the best way possible, right? Make everybody proud and show everybody what I'm made of. Yes. And I was also, always always most involved and bringing work home and learning everything about everything. And just kind of, right? Like, because, you never know what you're going to use it for, and always ever more skills and tasks and things. Yes.
Yeah,
But I also,
in the past, you know, my days were always filled with tasks from morning till night. I was constantly busy and thinking about work all the time. And I remember one day when I was sitting at the dinner table with my family, I was physically there, but my mind was still in the office. So I would catch myself half listening to conversations and brainstorming ideas like how to respond to some emails and messages that I hadn't responded to yet, and how to solve problems at work. So I was physically there at the dinner table, but mentally I was still in the office.
right.
And one day, what hit me the hardest was when I realized that it affected my family. So I realized that I was not only robbing myself of peace, but I was also robbing my family of me, the fully present version of me. And I realized that this is not okay. I have to change because this is not how I want my life to be. And I don't want it to affect my relationship with my family. I have to find a way to change. So I started learning how to disconnect from work, how to master the art of switching off. And it did not happen overnight. It took a lot of discipline and consistency, but I finally did it. Yeah. So now I'm proud to say that when I am with my family, I'm not just the body who is there, but I am engaged, I am relaxed, and I am fully present with my family. And every day I wake up feeling so grateful and happy, and I just enjoy my life more. I spend more time doing what I love. I spend more time on my hobbies, and I exercise every day. I eat healthier, and I spend time on my hobby like reading books and painting and physical activities and hanging out with friends. So I stopped overthinking and worrying about work all the time. So learning how to disconnect from work is, I can say that it is the game changer. And emotional intelligence is also very important, because if you don't have emotional intelligence, when things at work go well, you feel happy. But whenever something goes wrong, you feel unhappy and you lose all your happiness and you stress out and you worry about work constantly, right? So, learning how to improve your emotional intelligence is also a game changer. Yeah.
Yes. You touched on so many things. I'm trying to make myself some notes so I can realize where I'm gonna project. But I think I want to go back to the health part, because that was something that was big in my life too. I always had, stomach problems. There was a lot always on my stomach, on my back. Like I was physically, there was too much on me always. I always put everything on me, right? Everybody else's burdens, everybody else's things. So there was always, I was carrying too much. So I always had back problems, but also tummy, like, I had like a lot of stomach problems. And then at work, like the last piece that added to it, because you said headaches. Yeah, I started to have migraines. I've never had migraines in my life. And then all of a sudden, like it was like the worst thing, like really like with aura and not being able to see, like it was like really going downhill. And that's kind of when I then finally was like, okay, I have to change something. This is not, just can't, I can't deal, like something is totally wrong, you know? And the fun thing is, yeah, like, you know, all the food things, all the restrictions, like I managed all that, right? But then at some point, yeah, my breaking point, and even the back pain, I mean, for years, right? You don't even realize, because you're so busy, right? Like you put yourself last, like, and you're ever more like, okay, as soon as you back up, you know, as soon as you can walk again, as soon as you, I don't know, over that cold, you jump right back in, and you're like, oh, I have to catch up on everything. And you know, it's spinning so fast so that you really don't even, the slowing down is missing, right? You don't even realize how far away you are from where you should be, how far out of alignment you are, because you're ever more racing. So yeah, I feel like that health piece was the piece that made me stop. My body basically said, shut down now. If you don't do it by yourself, like I am helping you to do so, right? And it immobilized me, because like with migraine, like nothing helped other than I need to crawl into bed and I need to sleep and I need to like not do anything, right? Because otherwise it would just get worse. Any light, anything.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah. Would you say that was for you? That was the first contact then as well? Because the shaking and you dropped your plate and things like that, right? Your health was declining and you're like, okay, gotta do something.
Yes. So
Yeah.
stress really has a significant impact on our physical health, right?
Oh yeah.
And I used to have terrible digestive system, and I used to have frequent stomach pain due to stress. But at the time, I I tried everything I could to reduce stress, from taking a yoga class to seeing a doctor, to get some medications to feel better. And I also saw some counselors as well. So the stress only reduced temporarily, and it didn't really help me, because later in life, when something happened, it made me stressed and the pain came back. So it was like a vicious cycle of problems. And I was very angry, like, what's wrong with me? What can I do to feel better? Because all the things that I am trying is not working. And my transformation only happened when I decided to learn about myself. I decided to start my personal development journey, to learn about my mindset, to learn about my emotional intelligence, and how to heal all the things in my childhood, all the emotional wounds. And I finally could identify the root causes of my stress and anxiety. And that was when I could heal myself without taking any medications. Because the thing is, no matter how much yoga or meditation you do, if you don't change your mindset, your problems will keep coming back. Because your thoughts direct your feelings, and your feelings direct your actions, right? If you don't change the way you think, you will keep feeling stressed and anxious. And when you feel so stressed and anxious about work, what do? You overwork, right? And as a consequence, you are burnt out. So it's a vicious cycle of problems. So it's so important to know what triggers your stress and anxiety. What are the root causes? Yeah, and I found out at the time that I had a lot of limiting beliefs about my self-worth, and I had a lot of self-doubt, and I had to confront my fears, the fears that had long controlled my life and caused me a lot of stress and anxiety. For example, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of rejection. Yeah. So once I learned how to confront my fears, how to remove my limiting beliefs, how to overcome self-doubt, and just build a more positive and empowering mindset and belief system, that's when I transformed completely from mentally, emotionally to physically. Because in the past, I was very skinny. You know why? I couldn't gain weight. I struggled to gain weight almost my whole life because of my digestive issues. Because of my digestive issues. So I was very skinny. I was only 41 kilos, very unhealthy. And then after my self-discovery journey, I gained 10 kilos. 10 kilos. And now I'm very happy with my health, and I'm fit and I'm healthy, and 10 kilos of muscle, not fat. 10 kilos of muscles. And anyway, in general, I am fit and I am healthy. I love my body. I'm happy. I'm more positive, and I no longer struggle with constant stress and anxiety anymore. So we can see that stress has a significant impact on our physical health. And most people, they treat the symptoms. So they have digestive issues, they have stomach ache. They go see a doctor, they get medications for their stomach ache, right? They have a headache, they take aspirin, right? And some of my clients who are female, they have problems with their menstrual cycle, right? And they take medications to fix it, but it did not work because they are just trying to fix the symptoms. But the root cause is the stress. If you don't know how to manage your stress effectively, it will continue to manifest in physical symptoms. Yeah. So I love talking about this, and I love to share my stories to help others have better self-awareness, to understand that the importance of self-discovery and self-awareness, because you can imagine if you have a splinter in your finger and you put a bandage on, what would happen? The splinter will push deeper into your finger and keeps bleeding, right? So what are we supposed to do? We need to remove the splinter before putting the bandage on, right? So a lot of people, they want to feel less stressed, they want to have more calm, and they can go do exercise. Yes, the exercising is good. They go do yoga. Yes, yoga is good, but the root cause is still in there. And if they don't know what it is, then it's just like putting a bandage on and the wound still keeps bleeding. So it's very important to start our self-discovery journey and to understand more about ourselves so that we can, feel more free and have better quality of life. And we treat the root cause of the problem instead of the symptoms. Yeah. What do you think?
Yes, yeah. I was gonna say the same thing. Like all the, the medications and like the short-term things, those really just band-aids. They're just, fixing you in the moment, but they're not taking care of, the root cause. Exactly. So you will, and a lot of people come to me and they're like, I want to fix my outside. I want to control more. I want to better control my children, my husband, my like I want more control so I can feel more in control. They're so out of control, and they are thinking they need more control of the outside things. And so the first thing I usually tell them, right, like, you cannot control the outside. The only thing you can control is the inside. This is where your power is. You need to go inwards, right? Like, you can control how you respond. You can control how to, stay calm. You practice. You can control, how you show up. But you cannot choose others. Like, you cannot choose which challenges come to you. You cannot choose how your child, your husband responds or whatever, how you make them feel necessarily, right? Like, that is on their end, but you can put your best foot forward and you can pour into yourself so that you can show up as the best version of yourself. And then obviously with that, showing up with love, showing up with self-compassion, then you can, bring that compassion, that self-care and all that into the outside, right? Into any of your conversations, any of your relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
Very important concept to really go inward. That's the only thing you can control.
Yeah. Everything starts with us.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything starts with us. Yeah. The outside world is just a reflection of our inner world, right? And we may think that, oh, I'm so stressed. I need to go out there and fix the situations, right? And I want people to behave a certain way for me to feel happy and calm and at peace. And I want things to happen a certain way and as planned for me to feel calm and at peace, right? But who didn't feel at peace when everything goes according to plan? Who didn't feel happy when their kids behave or their husband is doing everything around the house, right? And who didn't feel calm and at peace when money is coming in and the business is going well? And who didn't feel happy when the world is perfect? That is circumstantial power. Circumstantial power. When we let the circumstances and other people to dictate how we feel, we lose our personal power. So it's important to know how to strengthen our personal power and how to raise our emotional intelligence so that we can still stay calm regardless of external circumstances, right?
Yes, other people don't dictate, how we feel. I am worth, I love myself. I am not, it's icing on the cake that other people love me, right? Like, I receive love from others, but it starts with me. If I love myself completely, then there's no shaking. There's no, oh, please love me. Oh, please let me, behave this way and behave that way, just so you can love me more. No. Like, you show up as you, and in yourself that you are lovely, like, you are an awesome person just the way you are. You're worth not because you produce, you're worth not because you act a certain way or whatever. No, you're worth it. You're beautiful and all that just because you are just the way you are. Yeah. That is a very big thing, a very good, like, once you're grounded in that, like, nothing can shake you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, this person doesn't like me, or I have to do this and this, in order to feel more like that, to feel more loved and to that. Like, no, you're just gonna, and that's, like you said in the beginning, right? That's part of the people pleasing and afraid of not being accepted and rejection and stuff. Like, those are things, they come from the inside, right? Like, we wanted to please our parents and be nice, right? We wanted to feel accepted, and they gave us love when we are the good girls and we won and we got the achievements and things like that. So we carried that into the world, and now we kind of need to dismantle that and be like, you know what? They love me anyways, like, yes, they showed me more love or whatever, and they showed me the best way possible, but right, there's more to it, and I am powerful and awesome just the way I am in every single way. And the more I find that and within myself, the more I believe that in myself, I can step out and so much more confidence and so much more power and yes, all the other things fall into too.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. Self-worth is very important. If we are not grounded in our self-worth, we tend to look for external validation to feel good about ourselves, right? And when we are not grounded in our self-worth, we expect others to behave a certain way so that we feel like we are good enough, right? So in the past, I used to work really hard just to get that dopamine hit from people saying, good job, Van, to feel happy, right? But when you constantly seek external validation, you are stuck in a constant chase for external validation, and it's like you go knock on others' doors waiting for them to welcome you into their home to tell you that you are good enough and you are worthy. But what if they reject you? What happens if they reject you? You lose all your sense of worthiness. You lose all your sense of enoughness, right? So stop seeking external validation and come home to yourself and make your inner home a place where you always feel worthy, happy, and at peace, right? So I always tell my coaching clients to learn how to create happiness from within instead of relying on others to make them happy. When you know how to fill yourself up inside, you can radiate that love and happiness and positivity to others, and you can build a happier and more fulfilling relationship with people around you, right? And you stop looking for external validations and approval. And whenever people give you compliments and praise and validation, you appreciate it more. You still feel happy, but you don't really need them to feel like you are good enough. You know that you were born worthy and you are enough just as you are. But when you receive compliments and praises from others, you feel happy and you appreciate them. But it's very different from relying on those things to feel like you are good enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before you're like the begging puppy, oh, please love me. Oh, please throw me a bone. Please, look, I can do all these things, I can do all these tricks for you. Come on, throw me something. Yes.
Yeah. So people pleasing is one of the most common problems that my clients face. I coach high achievers, and many high achievers suffer from stress and burnt out because they constantly say yes. They constantly take on external they constantly take on extra responsibilities and additional tasks to prove that they are capable, right? And they take on more tasks even though their plate is already full. And they end up feeling exhausted and burnt out.
Yeah, and they take on tasks that don't really fill them up, right? Like having a look around and really looking at, which of those things in my life actually make me feel happy, make me feel at peace, right? Like I used to have, like a full plate, but when I really went into like, okay, which of these things make me feel good, right? Like which of these things do I actually want to do because I want to, like I love it or something. And I was like, okay, go. go and cross out all these things. Yeah, there were so many things in my life that I just took on exactly, yeah, for the heck of it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna, take this. Of course, no one else is gonna take it, or and I can,
Mhm.
prove my worth again and stuff like that. Exactly. And then at some point I
Yeah.
was like, no, I feel like crap. I feel like shit, and like you said, the life on the outside looked awesome. And everybody was like, oh, your life is so perfect. And here I was like crying myself to sleep, like, oh my God, I hate my life. Like, why, if everybody thinks it's so awesome, why don't I feel awesome? Right. Which was
Yeah.
right? Which was my,
It
alarm clock going off.
must,
Like, okay,
right?
really,
Yeah.
you gotta change something. No one is coming to you with your dream life, Like you have to figure out. Most of the time, you don't even know, or I didn't know back then what it even is, what I want. Like because I was always chasing and chasing after the reward and people, right? So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I thought this would make me happy, right? This position and
Yeah.
this doing this, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So yes, like you said,
Mm,
the self-discovery journey and really looking deep inside, healing those wounds and really then looking, rediscovering yourself. Like there's this inner child of you, right? That kind of
mm,
got cut off and yeah, just kind of
yeah.
looking, what is it that I want to feel more of? What is it that makes me happy? What gives me that peace and calm?
Mm,
And the
yeah.
more you then stay within that and like it's like this little flower, you protect that little piece, you protect it and you make it grow. And the more
Yeah.
you then practice all these extra like the mindfulness, the yoga and all these things, they're awesome things in combination with your work on yourself,
Mhm. Yeah.
so the more you interject these and the more you practice it, of course, the more you can then, rely on them in high stress or challenging situations because challenges will always come, right? There's always a
Yeah.
challenge behind the next mountain or whatever is always there. And those are not like, right? If you see them as opportunities as chances instead of challenges, like, oh my God, why is everything coming to me, right? That was something too,
Yeah.
like there was a lot of victim right? And like, oh my God, everything is so bad. So once you flip that around and be like, oh my God, this is a new challenge. And yes, it is tough right now, but I can figure this out. And I'm so much better and stronger for it. On the other end, nothing can stop you.
Yes. Yes. Personal power, inner strength. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because life is full of challenges and difficulties, right? And it is out of our control. So it will happen at any time, and we can't control it we can't prevent it from happening. So it's important to know how to develop our inner strength, our personal power, so that we can become more resilient when we have to encounter challenges and difficulties in life, right? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it's really is a journey, right? Like I still face challenges and I still get knocked off balance, even though I've been practicing mindfulness and meditation, all these things, right? And it's going good for quite a while, right? Those stretches of it going well and me managing things better and me
Yeah.
recognizing problems and shifting things around, the response time goes quicker these days, right? But there's
Mm,
still things that knock me completely off. And I'm like, oh, wow. Right? But
yeah.
that's life. Like that's literally life. Like you're never stop challenges from coming. And that's also not the purpose, right? Like it's the same with your child. Like, I don't know if you have children, but like every
Oh, yes.
time we felt like, we figured out the feeding schedule and it worked out this way or her current nap time and stuff like that, like then it always changed, you know what I mean? And we're like,
Mm,
oh man, now we have to readjust and figure out the right place. And I feel like that's life. Like it really is, even for yourself too. Like there will always be new things in your life. You might have a new job, you move somewhere different, whatever it is, there will always be things that throw you off balance. And that is kind of also the purpose of life, to make you stronger, to challenge you, to push yourself so that you, like you said, build the resilience, come even more into your personal power and build it up. Be stronger, be that mountain.
yeah. Yeah. So, I wonder if the audience, if anyone has ever felt like no matter how much they accomplish, there's always more to do.
Oh, yes.
Right? So one of my tips to stay calm amidst the chaos of life is to shift our focus. When you focus on being rather than doing, you open up space for happiness, peace, and fulfillment. So one of my tips to stay calm amidst the chaos is to ask myself, try shifting the questions from what can I do next to how can I be more present in this moment? Because people who are ambitious and high achieving, they want to keep themselves busy. They like to be productive. And it is good to be productive. It is good that they want to challenge themselves. But ironically, it is also the reason why they are always stressed. So learning how to master the art of being will change your life. We can be busy and doing all the things that we are supposed to do, but learn how to stay present in the moment can completely change everything. It can bring you so much more peace of mind, right? So instead of asking yourself, what can I do next? Ask yourself, how can I be more present in this moment? So what I did in the past was when I was watching TV with my husband, I would still think about work, right? I was still worried about the unfinished tasks at work. And some people argued with me that, it's just so hard to stop thinking about something that you care so much about and something that you are so passionate about. For example, entrepreneurs running a new business and they are following their dreams and they are following their passion. It is so hard to switch off. So they end up thinking about work from the morning until the moment when they put their head on a pillow. So the whole day, think about work. And it really affects our relationship with our family and the relationship with ourselves too, right? So I would argue that thinking about work when you are not working is counterproductive. Because thinking about work when you are spending time with your family doesn't help you to speed up the process, doesn't help you to improve your work quality. The only thing that it is doing to you is ruining your quality time with your kids, with your husband, with your loved ones. So shift your focus from doing to being. It will change your life. Yeah, master the art of being and practicing mindfulness, right? And mindfulness can help us to stay fully present in the moment. And one of my clients used to ask me, but does it mean that you stop planning for the future? Being like mindfulness, does it mean you only focus on the present and stop worrying, thinking about the future? But I'm a high achiever and I am so ambitious. I can't stop thinking about the future. So mindfulness doesn't mean that you stop thinking and planning about the future. It means that, put it simply, you are 100% focused on what you are doing. And when you are planning for the future, yes, you are focusing on making the plan. But when you are taking care of yourself or spending time with your family, you are 100% fully present with them. Right?
Yeah,
What do
I
you
feel
think,
like,
Sandy?
yeah, I was just trying to, how can you put it in terms? I feel like mindfulness is like that, like a button, like you can, like it's an installed button, right? So where you before you couldn't turn off, you couldn't find that switch of like, how can I turn it off? Like I'm watching TV, but I'm still focused on work. I feel like
Yeah.
that's where mindfulness comes in, right? Where you
Yes.
catch
The
yourself.
self-awareness. Yes, it's the
Exactly.
self-awareness.
Yeah, and you catch yourself and you're like, stop. I'm thinking about work, but I don't want to think about work. Right now, I'm at home. I want to watch TV. I want to give myself over to this moment, right? So
Mm,
it's
yes.
the choosing part. It's that part,
Yeah.
right?
The
You get to
conscious
choose.
action, the
Yes,
conscious
you are
choice,
no
right?
longer just reacting, but
Yeah.
you're actively structuring, right? You're actively choosing what you're doing. And yes,
Yeah.
things become more clear because of the mindfulness. Like I said, so it's almost like a switch. Like you can catch yourself faster. You can and bring yourself out, bring yourself to the present, the attention, the awareness back where you are right now. And that then helps you, yeah, to cut off all that stress and all that constant, right? Your nervous system is in constant stress. You're like constantly on. You're like, I have to figure this out. There's so much to do. And of course, your heart is pumping, everything is tense. So you need to find that off button, that switch to kind of like, okay,
Yes.
okay, I am giving
I
my all at work, but now, yeah, it's time for me to shut down, give my body some rest. And then, the thing too is, yeah, that counterproductiveness, right? Like you being in this constant stress and tenseness, right? Like doesn't really help you be productive. Like it really
It
doesn't.
sounds exhausting, right? It
Yeah,
sounds
that the
exhausting.
rest and the calm and all that, like it will, give you the productivity the next day. You can come back refreshed with new eyes and with new power, right? With your batteries full, and then you can tackle whatever it is. But you need to give yourself that time out, right? That rest so that you can,
Yes.
really recharge those batteries. Like it's like on empty tummy, no gas, no whatever. You can't really do your best work. So that's
Yeah.
really taking the time.
Many people say that, oh my God, but I am too busy. I have a million things to do. I don't have time to rest. I don't have time to exercise.
You
What
make the
would you
time.
say to them? You make the
You
time.
make the time. Everybody has the same amount of time. And that is exactly why you go inward. You choose your values. What is it that is valuable? What is, is the job the most valuable thing? Is it really, truly? Or is it, your family and your self-worth and this and that? That's something that you have to figure out for yourself. What are my values? What is it that I want to go after? What is something that makes me happy and filled up? And then plan your time accordingly to give the time to those things that really fill up your cup, that make you happy, that bring you peace, that make you connect with your family, make feel present and best possible, instead of filling it with all the things, all the crazy tasks. And say
Yeah.
no. Like really practice the art of boundaries and saying no, thank you. Thank you for asking, but
Mm,
no. I would
yeah.
love to, but I cannot at the moment. I already got so many things or whatever. You don't even need to. Just say no. No, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that rest and self-care isn't something to fit in when you have time. It is a necessity
You
for
schedule that.
sustainable success, right?
Yes. Just like you do
I,
the dentist and all the other things, you schedule that self-care, that time, you block that off. Because,
yeah, it's,
before you know it,
it's
you
not a
feel,
luxury, right? Self-care is not a luxury,
no.
something that you do once in a while. It is a necessity, something that you have to do every day.
Yes, because before long, you won't have that health, right? If you always put it last, then it will decline. And at some point, you have to pick up the pieces. And I feel like we all have been there. And that's why now we are taking much better care of ourselves. But you can also listen to the little nudges before it gets too late, before it gets to those crazy moments, right? Where your life throws the semi truck at you and be like, stop now, listen, I can't go on like this. And then, yes, I mean, like I said, you shift towards, you really look what is important, and then go focus your energy on that. And self-care and health, taking care of yourself so that you can have a good life, a long life with the people around you. I feel like that should be, I mean, it's up top there for me. So everybody, again, has to decide for themselves what's the most important. But yes, again, filling up your own cup. You can only, if your batteries are empty, that's how you show up for everything, right? Just how you show up for your kids on empty, right? And that's something, for example, that I wasn't able to live with either. Like, I really wanted to show up as the best mom, as a good wife, not like in a I need to be perfect way, but just kind of like, hey, they deserve, right? They deserve me being present with them. They deserve a stable person in their life, not like and things like that. So yes, I feel like self-care then health is important for me so that I can show up as the version I want to show up as.
Yeah, exactly. So some people would argue that self-care is selfish, but self-care allows you to give others the best of you, not the rest of you.
Yes.
Right. And think about a car. Your car, when it runs out of petrol, do you get mad at your car? No. What you do is you go and fill it up with petrol. But why do you get mad at yourself when you can't be productive and when you feel exhausted and you can't get a lot of things done? Why do you get mad at yourself? So it is the same concept, right? And when you have a phone, and what happens when it out of battery, you need to recharge. You need to charge your phone. So you need to recharge your energy too. You need to fill yourself up with more energy, just like how you fill up your car with petrol, right? Yeah.
Yes, I think that's a good visual.
Not robots. We need rest, and we need to take a break. We need to take care of ourselves. Yeah.
Yes. Regularly, daily. Make it an afterthought. And yes, usually when it's really crazy, that's when you need it the most, right? That's when you should schedule more time for yourself to decompress.
Yeah, so everybody knows that self-care and rest is so important, but why so many people are not doing it? What is the reason? Why people know that self-care and rest is so important, but why are they still not doing it?
Yes, I guess it sometimes falls under, right? You get busy with all the other things. And if you're not catching yourself, you're not in the awareness, you just kind of keep going. The hamster wheel keeps spinning. And you just kind of, and before you know it, it's another day, another week, another month, right? But if you have those regular check-ins, right? Whether, daily at the end of the night or at the end of the week, whatever, right? You need to catch yourself. You have that fail safe of like, okay, let me check in here for a minute. I've been running on crazy. I've been running on empty. Let me check for a minute. And then just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm spinning in circles. I'm going kind of off path here. I need to align myself, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when you're not aligned and when you're in that hamster wheel, you don't have that awareness, like that's when you lose that time. You lose that ability to kind of, recenter and shift and focus. That's why that mindfulness piece, that check-in, that self-awareness, that daily care comes in. That's why it's so crucial, because before you know it, you're another day and you ran and ran and ran, and it will not change until you choose to do so.
Yes, it's important to be more conscious instead of living on autopilot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when we live on. So we all have an unconscious mind that controls 95% of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, right? And when we live on autopilot all the time, we keep repeating our unhealthy behaviors.
Right.
So that's why we keep overworking, and we keep overgiving, and we keep people pleasing, and we keep putting ourselves last. So it's important to understand how the unconscious mind works so that we can take our power back. We can take control of our life instead of letting our unconscious mind and all the limiting beliefs and fears drive our behaviors, right? So a part of learning how to be a master of your life, how to be the creator of your life, is to know how to understand how your unconscious mind works so that you can build a more positive and empowering mindset and belief system for yourself. And one of the most important lessons on my journey was to learn how to redefine success. So I invite you to reflect. What does success mean to you? In the past, I measured my success by asking myself questions like, what career goals have I achieved? How many awards have I received? How much money have I made? But I've come to realize that success isn't defined solely by external metrics. It isn't about achieving the milestones. It's about how happy and fulfilled you feel along the way. I believe that success should bring you joy, peace, and calm, not constant stress, anxiety, and burnt out. So I urge you, the listeners of the podcast, to redefine your success by your internal metrics. Ask yourself, what brought me joy today? What gave me a sense of peace? And what meaningful connection did I create today? So redefine your success not as a list of completed tasks, but as a state of being. Yeah. Tony Robbins, anybody here, if you're listening to this podcast episode, anybody here is a fan of Tony Robbins? He has a very famous quote: success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And have you watched any Robin Williams movies, Sandy? Do you know Robin Williams? Yeah. So Robin Williams, he was a legendary comedian, and he brought joy to countless fans. But he suffered from mental health issues. He suffered from stress, anxiety, and depression. And he took his own life. And that was very sad. So we can see that success doesn't shield us from mental health challenges. And his story reminds us that it's important to prioritize our mental health and well-being over material success. Yeah.
Yes. And also redefine failure. I think that was a good lesson for me as well. Just kind of like, it's not that I didn't win, right? Like failure is what did you learn? That's my usually, right? Like, if I fail at something, I'm never really failing. First of all, for me anyways, I redefined it as, I'm taking the lesson, right? So I either win or I get a lesson, which then leads me to another win. right? It's a
Yeah.
stepping stone. I learn from it so that I can do better next time, and I achieve and a win in the future because I took the lesson, right? You can't win, and you're not perfect. You can't win all the time,
Yeah.
but it's not a real loss if you learned the lesson, if you took something away from it, because you're always making the best choices in that moment, right? So, and you go forward and you try something and it may work and it may not work, but at least if it didn't work and you take the lesson and you're like, oh, I learned something though, I can try it this way or try it this way. And then,
Mm.
it makes your path to success as well. And it's not just, yeah, like you said, redefine success, but also redefine failure as what can I
Yeah.
learn? It's not
I
I
love that.
failed.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Failures and setback help us to grow, right? We learn from making mistakes. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, every failure is a setup for a comeback. Every setback is a
Yes.
setup for a comeback.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people are perfectionists and they beat themselves up over tiny, small mistakes, and they are obsessed with perfection. And to them, any mistake or imperfection make them feel like a failure.
Right.
So, like as you said, it's important to redefine not just success but also failure, right? And we view failure and mistakes and setbacks as opportunities for growth, right? And we all make mistakes. And if we always try to stop ourselves from making mistakes, then I'm afraid it's very hard to learn. And we will always stay in our comfort zone, right? Because we are worried about making mistakes. Oh, I don't want to make mistakes. So that's why I'm not taking risk. I'm not going for that opportunity or, that challenge because I don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to be seen as a failure. What if I fail? But why don't you ask yourself, what if you succeed? Right? What if I can't do it? What if you can? And what if you could do it much better than you expected? Right? So, yeah, learning how to redefine mistakes and failures is very important too. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, for me, it's also like I work with progress over perfection, right? For me, and I'm not comparing myself to whoever, I'm comparing to myself, me to myself yesterday, right? Did I do better yesterday? Am I moving towards the direction, am I better than last year? Am I better than last month, right? That is my metric. Because like if you're comparing yourself to your sister or your coworker or your neighbor, then you're comparing like apples and oranges. There's nothing, right? Like you need to compare yourself to you. Am I improving myself, right? Am I getting better at, I don't know, that marathon or that mindfulness practice? Am I better at keeping my calm? And all these
Yeah.
things. Am I better aware of my feelings and things like whatever is important to you? So always look at that. Compare yourself to yourself. Your success, your progress is the most important thing. And don't let perfection stop you. Like do it messy, but do it anyway.
Yes.
And also be afraid of regret more. Like don't be afraid of failure. Be afraid of regret because at some point in your life you're gonna look back at it and you're like, oh, I was like always careful and I was sitting in my comfort zone, blah blah blah, and I didn't try for anything. You're gonna regret that way more than you're gonna, right, sit here and be like, oh, I failed at this, I failed at that, right? Like that regret is gonna be the much bigger bill at the end. So really I urge you really try for something because like you shoot for the moon, at least you land among the stars. You may not get to the moon, but you tried. And
Yes.
it's that journey. It's really that journey, just shooting for something and trying and see where you land and then redefine and redirect, but really trying for something other than just sitting in your little cage and just kind of letting life pass you by. I think that's the
Mm,
worst.
Yes. Yes, I love that. I love that. Yeah, very beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that was such a beautiful session. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all these beautiful insights.
Oh,
Yes,
you're welcome. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, what a meaningful conversation and
yes,
um, full of inspiring stories, right?
yes,
And yeah, and I'm grateful for all the challenges that I've been through. When I was in the process, I was like, oh my God, why is it happening to me? But now, when I look back, I'm so grateful for all the challenges and difficulties that I've been through because they really helped me to grow to become who I am today. Yeah,
yes.
really helped me
They're
to
blessings.
see things differently. And I believe that life is happening for you, not to you. And everything happens for a reason. There's always a lesson hidden in every challenge.
Yes. And life is lived forward, but understood backwards. So once you and once you go with yes, it's always happening for me. I feel like yes, you can just trust that it's you don't know it yet what it's good for, but it will be good for something. Yes.
There's a hidden lesson. You may not know what it is yet, but just trust that life is happening for you. You are learning and growing, and you will become stronger and stronger if you keep going and learning the lesson, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Ah,
Thank you so
beautiful.
much, Sandy. What a great conversation.
Yes. So where can people connect with you if they want to get in touch with you? What would be the best place?
So I am on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, and I
Yes.
have a website. It is called vanancoaching.com. So VAN, my name, my full name, and coaching.com. And if you visit my website, you can see all of my social media handles. And yeah, I would love to connect with everyone. And I organize free 5-day challenges to help people how to transform from chaos to calm, how to equip themselves with all the practical and proven stress and anxiety relief techniques. So I run the challenges every 1 or 2 months. So if you are interested in joining the free 5-day challenge, connect with me to know when the next season is out. And I've received a lot of positive feedback from the participants of my challenges. And they tell me that after applying the techniques that I shared with them, they have so much more calm and peace of mind when they are growing their career and following their dreams. And they just, become more present when they are doing things every day, when they are spending time with their family. And when I hear that they can not only feel better, but also have better relationships with their family, that makes me very happy. Yeah. So welcome anyone. If you want to join, just connect with me. Yeah. vanancoaching.com.
Aw, that's so good. Yes, I'm definitely going to put it in the show notes as well, but I
Oh,
always like
thank
to
you
ask.
so much.
So
Thank
we know
you.
where to direct people to. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. I hope people jump on the challenge because I'm sure, yes, you're gonna take a lot away from it. Well,
Yes, yes.
thank you for your time and for sharing all your insights with us.
Thank you so much, Sandy, for having me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story and what I've learned along my journey to help others find peace and calm. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. What a powerful session this was today with Vân An. I really loved her powerful story, and it really brought back some personal struggles for me, right? Like struggles with my health and with my stress. And I'm just going back to my notes, right? It's really powerful to look back at this now and realize things, right? How much this pushing through, this suffering in silence, and how much it hurt me, how much these people pleasing and how the external validation, it took a toll. It took such a toll on my life, on my health, and on myself, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I was so busy. I was always so busy, right? And really, like we said in the episode, really stopping, really making the time and really looking deeply inside of yourself of like, is this the life I want? And really choosing then carefully, if this is not it, right? Craft it the way that you want it to look. And really start small, right? Like, like practice saying no to this one thing, and practice carving out just a little bit more time for the thing that really fills you up. You love drawing? Well, find a time once a week. Give yourself an hour and draw. Or hey, you really want to, walk more. Whatever it is that, you would like to see more of, try and incorporate it little by little. And before you know it, it will start shifting things around, and things will fall away, and your life will rearrange itself to feel so much better. I really can implore you to, right? I really, my life looked so good from the outside, but I hated the way it felt. I felt lonely, stressed, overworked, unloved, unseen, right? And I was looking at the outside too. If my husband would just do this and that and things like that, if this and that was different and this, and I was always, looking at the outside, being the victim, until I stopped and still I chose to step into my power and really choose to make a difference. And like some powerful key takeaways from today that I have on my little paper here is, right? The most important thing is to start your journey, right? Start gaining that awareness. Start looking at your values. Start taking better care of yourself and step into your personal power. Really take that pause, right? Rather than speeding it up ever more, slowing down. Slower is faster, as Rachel in a previous podcast said. But yes, slower is faster. Slow things down. Take a look around. Take a look inside and really look, how does that feel? How does that make me feel? And is this the way I want to feel? Is this something I want to go towards, or something I want to go away? Redefine success and failure, right? Self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Really filling up that cup so you can show up as the best version of yourself, for yourself and others. And then, yes, master the art of being present. Really master the art of being present. So yes, let me know in the comments, how did you like this episode? What did you take away? What is something that you might want to start doing? What is something that fills you up? Let me know in the comments below. I am so happy that you listened to this episode. Let me know if there's a topic that really interests you and you would like to hear more of. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, bye.